Hey guys, what's going on? Matt here from DCL Blogger. In this video, we're going to be going through what I think, or people may think, is in this Monolith. All right, Artifact Studio released this Monolith, I think a couple of months ago. And everyone's trying to figure out what's inside it. They've been doing puzzles as to break it apart and figure out slow, step by step. It keeps evolving and it's going to show what's inside it. And there's been a few theories based on what people think is inside it. So I wanted to just collate everything. I haven't really been paying that much attention. I haven't been participating in the quests, but I have been every now and then listening and reading Twitter threads that some of the community members have been putting forward. And yeah, it is super interesting to figure out what's in here, right? So if you don't know Artifact Studio, quick synopsis is they are a studio that previously did work for some esports games, esports teams, and all sorts of stuff. They're obviously very good at 3D design. They've had a year-long history of building pretty substantial events and experiences in quote-unquote the metaverse, whether that be Decentraland or the Sandbox. They sort of know how to use the tools around them to build virtual experiences or virtual items. So they did all sorts of collaborations with Ferocious, Loopify, a bunch of different Corey, a bunch of different artists, and they released their own avatar project called CloneX, which looked like these, and it was a collaboration with Takashi Murakami, and it went pretty damn successful. I think they raised about $100 million on primary, and it's done a lot of money since. They're sitting at about 17 to 18 ETH floor. So what they did was they airdropped everyone that owned a CloneX, and just an FYI, I own a ton of these because I was a Artifact supporter back in the day. I actually had a lot of Artifact NFTs, and then suddenly they announced the fact that you can mint these for a pretty low cost if you have those Artifact NFTs. And so I ended up getting quite a lot of them. I have about 78 in this wallet, and they range from sort of real basic to a little bit cooler. Yeah, it's pretty exciting. So I've been exposed to all the airdrops so far. So what they did was everyone that owns these CloneXs, they gave them all a monolith, right, which looks like this, and it seems to be Nike's first sort of NFT. And Nike acquired Artifact Studio as soon as they announced the conclusion of the CloneX drop. Nike announced an acquisition, and suddenly it was like, whoa, we got this, you know, this sort of homegrown game studio, virtual studio that really knows how to handle and utilize the tools in the metaverse. Suddenly they're acquired and have exposure to the network of Nike. It became a very cool collaboration. Some people didn't really like it because it was like, oh, well, you know, Artifact could have really competed with Nike if they just did their own thing. Some people liked it because Nike brings a big network. In my opinion, as long as Nike are sort of really hands-off, I think it's absolutely fine. Okay, so these monoliths came about and everyone got airdropped them. You can see I own 78 of them. I'm pretty excited on what's inside them. I haven't really figured out what the hell to do, if I'm going to hold all 78 or if I'm going to sell some. I think I might sell a little bit because, well, I bought a house recently. I need some capital for it. So if you hear the baby in the background, I apologize to absolutely no one because I'm babysitting tonight or today. My wifey is a bit sick upstairs, so I've got the baby next to me while working. So this will just have to do. All right, so everyone got airdropped a monolith. It all looks the same for every single person. So these are some theories, guys. Let's really jump into what's going on. All right, so Ben, a while back, I think a few days ago, said that he's back from a meeting and AMA for 10 minutes. So we did a bit of an AMA, and everyone was asking what's in the monolith. So Will, what's inside the monolith? F your minds up big time. Depends how your mind is already effed up or not. It's not an NFT drop. It's a new way of thinking of the past, looking from the future. I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but I think it mind F's people even more. 3D files this month. We know that 3D files are coming out. He says it's the plan. Yes, working on the back end as we speak. It's not an easy process. Probably sounds like it's a bit far away, which is all cool. All cool. It takes time to build good things. All right, let's control F monolith to figure out what else is in here. Okay, so has anyone nailed the monolith theory so far? I need the community to do a monolithicon to make sure I read all, and then I'll be able to tell you. I think from the many stuff I have read, no one really did, but some are very close, just the wrong angle. Interesting. Just the wrong angle. All right. What's the biggest takeaway we'll have from the monolith? New vision, inspiration, actions. So things to do. New vision, new inspiration, new actions. Maybe it is another part of the ecosystem, a long-term thing. It'll inspire us to maybe use the tools that come out of the monolith, to use things, actions, maybe, again, utilize them. It's something that doesn't end with just the reveal. That's what I get from that. Yeah. All right, so let's dive into what Rick has figured out. All right, so what's in the Artifact Studio monolith? So rickz.e, shout out to you, man. Using my background in filmmaking and extensive experience with storytelling, I think I have cracked the mystery of what's inside. Ready for this? Let's dive in below. So it's a pretty long thread. I'm not going to go through the whole thing in this video because it's probably going to put a bunch of people to sleep. But basically, the first thing is probably the most important. From the very beginning, when the monolith first dropped, I instantly connected the similarities to the monolith from the classic movie 2001 A Space Odyssey. First of all, it shares the same name. They are both black mysterious objects of unknown origin and power. A story is unfolding, and it kind of goes on to talk about a bunch of stuff and how there's stronger similarities. But this post, I believe, summarizes it. So NFT Evening did a summary of the thread. People are doing blog post summaries of threads these days, so that's pretty cool. So he goes on to tell you about the monolith a little bit. So he goes, in a long Twitter thread, he likened the monolith to the monolith used in, I don't even know if I'm saying that word right, all right, so just bear with me. Monolith is used to the movie 2001 Space Odyssey. The monolith is the monolith in the film is a self-replicating machine that can be connected to the artifact clones, since clone literally means a copy of something else or a replica. The theory suggests the machine inside the monolith will periodically generate items and components needed to create the next generation of clones. In addition, the post also said that the object will also be the artifact way to introduce the drip token. The monolith will probably generate drip, and if you own a pod or clone, there would be a multiplier on how fast you generate new drip. Very interesting. Lastly, the theory ends with the monolith having more items to advance the clones. This could mean clothing and sneakers in a new modular way that you can create for your clones and also for yourself. Basically, in the conspiracy theory, the monolith are machines that create new artifact clones and generate drip token and items for your clone and IRL. Okay, so if we kind of break that down a little bit, let's do a bit of research into the 2001 Space Odyssey movie, which I never seen before, so I did a quick Google Wikipedia search. Seems like a pretty interesting movie, actually. In a prehistoric Veld, a tribe of, oh my goodness, hominins is driven away from its waterhole by a rival tribe. The next day, they find an alien monolith, which looks like this. A monoliths are machines built by an unseen extraterrestrial species whom Clark dubbed the Firstborn, and whom he suggests are the earliest highly intelligent species to evolve in the Milky Way in the series of novels. Three monoliths has appeared in the midst. It helps them discover how to use the bone as a weapon, and after their first hunt, return to drive their rivals away with a newly discovered tool. And little snippet here as well says, monoliths are machines built by an unseen extraterrestrial species whom Clark dubbed the Firstborn, and whom he suggests are the earliest highly intelligent species to evolve in the Milky Way. In the series of novels, 3 monoliths are discovered in the solar system by Australopithecines and their human descendants. The response of the characters to the discovery drives the plot to the series. It also influences the fictional history of the series, particularly by encouraging humans to progress with technological development. So basically, it's this thing that appears, sort of like an obelisk, monolith, this big stone that provides tools, knowledge to a generation of people or humankind or a species to take them to the next level of their evolution. So in this case, in the earlier case of this movie, it seemed to be tools that help them build items. In later cases, so I mean, I think there's a current the movie kind of fast forwards in a current setting where it takes people to a place in Jupiter and then, or a place in space, and then they find a monolith there, and it gives them tools to take, again, evolve humanity to the next level. Again, I haven't watched the movie, but it's an interesting sort of comparison because things will make sense, right, as we read more conspiracy theories. So keep that in mind. A monolith in this movie is a stone that releases tools that people use to take whatever is going on to the next level. Seems like a mentality or a mindset that Artifact would have had with the monolith. Okay, now let's keep going. There's this really interesting thing with okay, so here we go. So YCXC, he goes, with Artifact breaking full. This is a while ago, I believe. So this is on March 21st. Okay, this is like 2 or 3 weeks ago. Thought it's time to explain what's going on. The Monolith story so far, aka why Monolith will moon. Okay, now I don't know if it's got a moon or not. All right, this isn't got nothing to this video's got nothing to do with price predictions, because that could go anyway. I mean, even if Artifact released the coolest, dopest, whatever it is that meet all expectations, price doesn't usually match it sometimes, because people just maybe a big whale with 500 monoliths just wants to sell a lot of them at that given time, which dumps the price if there's not much buy pressure, right? So I don't relate this stuff to price. It's a very long-term thinking for me. So anyway, let's keep going. 1 out of 15. First off, if you're new, Artifact Studio and CloneX, blah, 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 blah. Okay, here we go. The first clue about Monolith is in this chart. As you can see, it was airdropped to CloneX holders. With more airdrops mentioned, the Monolith will reveal something that airdrops more. The dots used are also telling. It says not just one, but multiple things. So the ones, whenever there was a dot here, it looked like it's split into multiple things. So if you got a CloneX, there was a dot split into 2 here. This goes to the Monolith. And you can see this cuts off here, but here there's a dot, which means there may be multiple things that you get from the Monolith, right? And then you keep going, and then he goes, so what can the Monolith reveal asset be? Artifact Studio has tweeted about batches, so Artifact Studio mentioned some stuff about batches and going through different things. So it looks like they're making a different thing for each person. There's another thing that was leaked over here where Zepito said we can't give 20k unique clones the same drop. It would be unethical. So it looks like it's something that you're going to get that's going to have variety in it. Now, is it going to be a randomly, is it going to be a completely unique per each thing? We don't know. With the PodX ecosystem ongoing and the CloneX ecosystem announced, an easy guess would be that the Monolith is a breakout to the Wearables. Imagine the Monolith as a factory spitting out wearables, or as a forging kit to create wearables. I might have to run to my kid really soon. She seems fine for now. Wait, what are you up to? I wish I could show you guys, but she looks sleepy right now. But Artifact Studio has also said that you don't need a CloneX to use what the Monolith is meant for. So could it be a breakout into a whole new ecosystem? They've said avatar ecosystem, pod ecosystem, underlying ecosystem. Now, break here. In my opinion, Artifact Studio have been known for their kind of streetwear design, their merch, their physical sort of clothing design. And that's where I think they first entered this space, making wearables for DCL. I remember that very clearly. They had some art pieces, but it was very centered around merch. They did a big shoe drop with Ferocious. So merch is in the DNA of Artifact Studio as a company. Now, them collaborating or more being acquired by Nike, which, of course, again, are big into merch, right? That's their business. Merch, sports, fashion is their thing. So it just makes total sense that this has a lot to do with wearables, merch, fashion, identity, items. And when you get wearables, you're not just going to get one thing, you'll get multiple ones, right? So it makes sense. It's a forging kit thing that you can connect to Nike wearables that are here long term. When I think about why Nike would acquire Artifact Studio, I think about, all right, well, they wanted an NFT native company that people can connect to. They wanted to break in with their existing network, which they already have. Roger Federer, I don't know who else are in their line. I think that was a golfer, Tiger Woods. You know, I think some of these people are have Nike. I don't even know how to pronounce it. Let's just go with Nike. That have Nike, you know, sponsored by Nike. So they have a pretty big network of people. So imagine these people, companies, brands, they want to go digital, and Nike brings them to Artifact Studio, and Artifact Studio sort of activates them in the NFT space. I feel like that can be done with what's about to happen with the Monolith, right? So a lot of things pointing to it being a multiple NFT drop. A lot of things pointing to it for it to be wearables. A lot of it pointing to it to be something that we get and we will use. So something that we will forge, tools, etc. like that. Anyway, he keeps going, and there's a bunch of different stuff here. You know, take a look in your own time. I don't want to go through each person's thread too in detail. All right, so there's another one here by Press. He goes, my Artifact Studio and Nike Monolith theory. The Monolith is a virtual product NFT generator that enables its holders to use qualifying NFT projects to mint digital fashion products, e.g. sneakers, that incorporates the traits designs of their parent NFT, a thread. So here's an interesting one. So he goes on to talk about this. There were some sneakers that were shared by Artifact Studio. So take, for instance, some of these dope kicks. I suspect they are hinting that these are somehow related to Clone X. So it seems like this, you know, this looks like a reptile shoe. This looks like an undead shoe. Project code name Yeezy Gen Race Undead. So it looks like some wearables or maybe some physical shoes you will get when Nike or they bring some collaborative partners to the space. again, merch just seems to be its thing, right? And here's an interesting find, right? Diving a bit deeper, and I apologize for not crediting the user who showed this to me, but this is not my own research. I present to you Christopher Andon, or should we call him by his official name, Christopher Jean Shu Andon. And here, it looks like he is some sort of developer or someone that works within Artifact Studio, or something to do with it. And here in his thing, he's got something called he's got this flowchart that says blockchain digital locker virtual object generator. So people are saying, well, this guy could be someone working on the monolith who said it's a virtual object generator. Another thing that points to merch or something like that, right? Andon uses the CloneX PFP on LinkedIn and has mentioned a DNA emoji in his display name. He has worked at Nike for 10 years as a senior digital patent expert and more recently senior director of metaverse intellectual property. All right. Fasten your seatbelts. Andon has a flowchart on his LinkedIn banner featuring the term virtual object generator, and in 2019 Andon filed a patent on behalf of Nike that included detailed information related to such a virtual object generator. A quote from the patent: in one embodiment, a virtual object generator may be provided to create a digital object on the basis of the genomic information associated with the token, i.e. the metadata confined in the artifact CloneX. All right. Again, we could keep going for a while. Okay, so this is the last sort of Twitter thread I'll be going through. So this is one by Maximone. All right, clone, some alpha. Monolith seemingly has something to do with skins. These are error messages found in a test contract. So people have been hunting down the contract. This error message says revert with 0 as skin is already equipped. So it shows like, all right, maybe this, in testing, they try to equip this. If you equip a skin, it reverts to this previous function, revert with 0. And here it says something along the lines of, okay, that's what he says, right? So the skins or something there. Interestingly, we know that Monolith was ERC 1155 to ERC 721, like vials to clones. But it seems on top of that, there's also a new ERC 1155 in play related to skins. And then I think he quote tweets this, and then he says something along the lines of some new testing happened today. Here's some additional findings. The initial migration of Monolith to Reveal seems to give back 3 NFTs and burns your Monolith. 1 ERC 721 and 2 ERC 1155s. All right. So there we go, guys. So that's a lot to digest, but to me, and I don't know if you guys are thinking the same, but it seems to be this NFT that's gonna give us some tools to use. You forge different wearables. It definitely feels in the wearables line. Definitely seems like it's Nike related. It has a Nike tick on it. Another thing, there was a really cool picture that I hope I can find. Monolith base. Let's see if I can find it. But there was like this picture of a hidden Monolith face that someone found when they paused the Monolith. They found a face in it.
3 hours later.
Looks like there's a face. All right, guys. So in this section, I paused the video and found it in a previous recording that I had made. This one didn't go ahead because I stuffed up the audio. But here you can see, and since then, he's protected his tweet, so I can't find it now. But he goes on to say that if you circle here, there's a section in the Monolith when it's spinning. He pauses it. It looks like, and he turns it upside down. There's a face in there. Holy shit! There's a face in there. If you can see it, there's eyes, there's ears. Looks like there's a massive face sort of thing here and hair. So is it a robot? Is it like someone will get, again, a machine, a tool, something that looks sentient, that looks somewhat alive, that can merge something and output something that seems generated? Some clues, right? Some more clues as to what's going down in the Monolith. So very exciting to figure out what's been going on. So far, that's all I got with the information out there. I do know that they just finished doing a quest recently. So if we go to Artifact Studio, they just completed their quest. And I wonder, here we go. So there's a glitching thing. So did anyone find anything in the glitch? Such a big community. I'm in the spaces, lost AF. I was basically farming on the side. Well done, everyone. So nothing about, no new information. I couldn't find new information. If you guys found anything new, let me know. But it looks like I don't know if you guys can see anything in the glitch. in the glitch. Can you see anything in the glitch? Can you see anything? What's going on there? What's going on here? It's just like a color change. Nothing too significant. Is there something around the colors red? Maybe multiple things, wearable fashion. All right, not much information there. So it seems like it'll be revealed this week. Hang tight, guys. That's it for this video. Let me know what you thought. Share it. And again, let's see what comes out of this monolith, eh?